here for the MCH News Network presidential debate, and I'm your host, Ronahue. And yes, I do have my own thoughts. Let's introduce our candidates. Former President Donald Trump and his vice presidential candidate, J.D. Vance. And we have Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Tim Walz. Let's get started. Here are some of the basic ground rules and general information before we begin. This is for the presidential election on November 5th, 2024. Each candidate will answer a few questions. Each candidate's microphone will be muted after they provide their response. Now, let's get started. Why should somebody register to vote?
Well, voting is so important. I created voting a long time ago. I created voting. Believe me, there was no voting. But I said, no, people need to tell us what they want. So I created voting along with my friend, George Washington. It was huge.
This reminds me of something my father said. What can be unburdened by what has been?
I'm sorry, Madam Vice President, but can you please answer the question? Thank you.
You've got to register to vote for your voice to be heard. That means you young people, finish up your brat summer and register to vote. You have until October 7th to register to vote. Membership can help you register. It only takes 2 minutes.
It takes 2 minutes. I created that law to make sure it only takes 2 minutes.
We're going to fact check a few statements. And to highlight the main points for today, in order to vote, you need to be registered. Registering is easy and it can be done online. Registration ends on October 7th. Speak with the membership unit for help getting registered. And now, let's go back to our regularly scheduled programming. We'll continue our debate next week. Hey, we're back! Live for the MCH News Network debate. Let's continue with our candidates. Madam Vice President, some people believe that early voting and using absentee ballots means your vote won't count. Can you please tell us your thoughts about that?
Absentee ballots absolutely are counted. Some people cannot make it to the polls on election day, or maybe it gives someone anxiety, and that's why absentee ballots are so important. You can request one and vote from the comfort of your home. They're HOTTOGO. It's very demure, very mindful, very patriotic.
Former President Trump, your thoughts?
I'm a big fan of the membership unit. They're really, really fine people. Fine people. Big fan of the membership unit. They're the best unit on the planet. I heard that they can help you request an absentee ballot, but I'm not sure. You'll have to talk to them.
That's something we agree on. I'm also a big fan of the membership unit. They can definitely help you request an absentee ballot. In words of my talented brother, Kendrick Lamar, for those units, they not like us. And remember, early in-person voting starts on October 8th, which includes the 2 Saturdays and 2 Sundays before Election Day.
Early voting, yeah, early voting. It's huge. It's going to be the best way to get your voice heard. You got to get out there and vote. You can go to the Department of Elections starting October 8th. It's going to be
Well, thank you both. That's it for this segment. To recap, you can request absentee ballots if you do not want to vote in person. You can also vote early at the Board of Elections starting on October 8th. Now, let's check in with our regularly scheduled programming and we'll continue the debate next week. Welcome back to the finale of our debate. We're going to let our presidential candidates and vice presidential candidates give their final thoughts about voting. Let's start with former President Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance.
You gotta get out there and vote, people. We have to keep America great. Vote Legally, of course.
What Donaldson?
Mr. Vance, you can have your own thoughts, you know. Madam Vice President, your final thoughts.
My fellow Americans, you have to get out there and vote, whether it's by absentee, early voting, or voting on election day. Make sure your voice is heard on November 5th. We're like a big pot of collard greens, very cutesy.
I just like everyone, and we don't approve of political jokes. We've seen too many get elected.
Fake news. Nope. Don't believe it.
All right, thank you everyone for your thoughts. Remember, Election Day is November 5th. You can vote early, in person, or on Election Day. If you have questions, stop by the membership unit to make your voice heard. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.